right, left, right. That's sort of dumb.
That's a very exciting scene, though.
True.
There's a new movie coming out called Twisters, Multiple Twisters. It's the sequel to Twister. So since we are professionals, we want to make sure we were not lost in watching this big, giant, noisy tornado movie. So we went back to the original big, noisy, giant tornado movie from 1996. It is Twister. Tell us about it, Alonso.
So Jami Gertz plays a therapist who finds herself surrounded by a bunch of lunatics.
It's coming! Everybody underground now! Joe, come on! Get underground! Take cover right now!
No, not really. Okay,
they are,
yes,
though.
They are. And there were times when Dave was like, this is like Crash for weather, like the Cronenberg movie. All right. So Bill Paxton is a former storm chaser turned TV weatherman. He just wants his ex-wife, Helen Hunt, who's still out in the field, to sign the paper so he can get divorced and marry therapist Jami Gertz, who owns the Milwaukee Brewers and the Atlanta Hawks. Were you aware of this?
I was, because I watched the NBA draft a few years back, and she's the one who picks on behalf of the team. She's married to a billionaire.
Yes. Well done, Jami Gertz.
Good job, Buffy Tupperman.
Exactly. So of course, wouldn't you know it, it's Twister season, and before you know it, they're out there chasing after the big cones, and Paxton and Hunt are falling back in love, dealing with a rival corporate sponsor backed weather guy who doesn't have the same passion and extremeness and sense of wind that Paxton does, played by Cary Elwes. And Hunt and Paxton are backed up with a crazy murderer's row of character actors. We're talking Philip Seymour Hoffman. We're talking future Tar director Todd Field, Joey Slotnick. This movie just has character actors out the yin yang. Does it make any sense? No. Does the technobabble about weather make any sense if you aren't a meteorologist? No. Does it make sense if you are a meteorologist? I don't know. Ask a meteorologist. Is it still really entertaining to watch big tornadoes whip through Oklahoma cornfields? Yeah. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, I was impressed with what they were able to do technologically here with, is things flying through the air. The thing where the truck goes through the house as the house is spinning across the street and the truck drives through it. We're inside the house with the truck. It feels practical. It feels like they actually drove a truck through a house.
I suspect it was for 1996. If you want to know what 1996 visual effects look like, there's that shot early in the film where you see a satellite going around the Earth, and it's oh, that's an effect. It looks really bad.
Also, Alan Ruck.
Alan Ruck, yes, yeah,
and Lois Smith.
Yes. No shade, Wendy Josie for Jeremy Davies. No shade of leaving people out. It's just a very long list.
It's a very, very long list. No, I had forgotten. I had to double check myself. So yeah, I had fun. I don't know that I must have seen this. I have no strong memories of it. I'm sure I did.
It was a big hit in the summer of '96. Yeah,
1996. Where was I living? I think I was living in the Bay Area and working for the Marin Independent Journal. I was a police reporter. And I don't know that I was seeing as many movies, certainly, as I do now. But I must have seen this. I'm sure I did, but it didn't have any kind of big lasting memory for me. But I was delighted to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, I was living in Dallas. It was, the film festival where I worked, we would close the office early on Fridays during the summer and go see whatever the week's biggest, dumbest movie was. And this definitely qualified. I saw it at North Park 1, which the RIP North Park 1. If you're going to see a movie like this anywhere, you want to see it there. And yeah, I remember being kind of okay, but it is fun on a visceral level. And so, I think it still delivers on that level. This movie is nonsense, but if you think of it more like something in the vein of, the Poseidon Adventure, then I think this movie kind of represents you take that sort of 70s Irwin Allenness and filter it through post Jurassic Park Amblin, and so you get a lot of big wide shots of the sky and characters looking up in awe, those very kind of Spielberg-y touches. So yeah, I mean, it's dopey, but it works.
There's a couple different shots though that really capture the visceral thrill of them chasing the tornadoes. And they didn't have drones back then. maybe it's a helicopter. I
Maybe
don't
it's
know
a
what it is.
helicopter. Yeah.
But there's like, a convoy of trucks going down the road and the camera's right there along with them and like behind them and then alongside them. And it's totally smooth and it brings you along. You feel like you're a part of the middle of things. And I thought that was like pretty well done for mid-90s action filmmaking.
Well, this is Jan de Bont coming off of Speed, and so I think he knew from, aerial shots of vehicles by that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a perfectly effective summer popcorn movie.
I would say, even though they're all not terribly drawn all that well, they're types, but still once Lois Smith's house is in danger and they are collapsing through it and they seem like they're in legitimate peril, I cared.
Sure, save the dog,
I was indifferent. We got to talk about Philip Seymour Hoffman here.
Yes.
This is pre-Boogie Nights. Philip Seymour Hoffman, he was not great yet. He was young and kind of a wild card here. He's sort of in his own movie that's totally separate from the one that's on display.
Yeah, but I think sometimes when you look at this material, you're like, okay, I got to carve something out of this, It's funny. I think that I think part of his legacy is that he could be in a movie that was as dumb as this or like Along Came Polly, and you were drawn to him anyway.
Right.
He has before this, he had a really great, like kind of brief but memorable role as like an uptight small town cop in Nobody's Fool, the Paul Newman movie. So yeah, it's interesting to see his evolution, obviously, as somebody who was like a year or two away from becoming like a very big deal in American cinema. But yeah, he's, I think all of the kind of hench people, the supporting characters realize I'm a second banana here. I have like 10 seconds to make it pop. And, he's doing that.
And all of Helen Hunt's comic timing is on display. Like
Yes.
just her way with the blasé tossed off one-liner and how she's like all business and can't be bothered with, whatever it is that Bill Paxton wants from her. This is a comparatively kind of subdued role for Bill Paxton.
Yes.
I feel like he kind of like takes a backseat to the tornadoes in terms of, that's the crazy character on display here. And he's more of a serious scientist.
Yeah, I mean, I think he realizes he's the square-jawed lead, which normally, when Paxton is fourth or fifth on the call sheet, he knows he gets to, get out there and be nutty. But in something like this or, One False Move, like he's anchoring the movie. So he's giving you more sort of like traditional movie hero, and that fits, and he's engaging enough to make that work.
Yeah. So Philip Seymour Hoffman is the Bill Paxton here.
Yes, exactly.
But they have nice chemistry, he and Helen Hunt. It's a nice back and forth, and you get the feeling almost like a screwball comedy energy to their back and forth.
No, they're really trying to His Girl Friday, the whole like, oh, they're trying to get divorced, but they love each other too much, that, which I guess makes Jami Gertz the Ralph Bellamy here. Sure, fine, whatever. But yeah, Hunt is much more comfortable in the kind of quippy stuff than in the action movie thing where she's like yelling into the radio, left, right, that's sort of dumb.
It's a very exciting scene though.
True.
They got to dodge all the cows and all the trees and all that. So what's your number? Should we give numbers to Twister?
Oh, I don't want to give it a number. It's,
Okay.
it's a movie that you already know if you like it or not. It has like very intense partisans and people who roll their eyes at it. And I suspect so will Twisters. But we'll talk about that later this week when we review it.
I can't wait. Yeah, as our friend Matt would say, it does what it says on the box.
Gives you Twisters.
Yes. All right. So we'll have a review of Twisters, plural, later this week.